Splendid, Zero. You defeated my stars. Do you still hold grudges? Don't you realize what's going on? In the worst case scenario, you might die as well. I know. I think it's a golden opportunity. Thanks to the space colony incident, a lot of low Reploids were lost. Now I can easily control the Reploids remaining. It's the ideal time to build my world. I won't let anybody interfere. Finally, I can realize my dream. I will build the strongest nation. Your ridiculous obsession is a waste of our time. An ideal world made from a virus. It won't last with the corrupt foundation. Even though you have Maverick Hunters and Reploids. And you still could not maintain peace, right? Don't accuse me when you use force as well. Stop quarreling! The Earth needs us now! Gate, I believe you should know better! I can't forget. They murdered my works instead of appreciating them. They were such excellent Reploids! Why? This Maverick Hunter can't be analyzed, and may carry great risks, but why don't you dispose of him? I'm looking forward to seeing the mysterious hero in my laboratory. That cutscene plays after fighting Heatnix, by the way. Gate is behind everything. Stop his evil. We've located his secret laboratory. Let's stop the nightmares now. And for fighting Heatnix, you get to go right to Gate's lab whenever you want. However, we want to go over a few things first. First off, there was an equivalent cutscene to that if you beat Heatnix, or the last Maverick, because that cutscene also plays if you beat all 8 Mavericks, as X. So, let's take a quick look at that, shall we? Well done, Maverick Hunter X. You defeated my star creations. Who are you? I'm Gate, the new leader of Reploids. I aim for an ideal nation of Reploids only. I'm eliminating low Reploids for that. Do you realize what you're doing? The Earth can't be fixed without Reploids. I know, so this is the perfect time. I can bring a new age just for Reploids. This is my dream. I've been waiting for this. I won't let anybody get in the way. X, I'll give you a special treat, since you proved your worth and ability defeating my investigators. I'll invite you to my laboratory. No more hiding. I'm sure you'll come, even if you know you'll die. I'm waiting for you in my laboratory. As with last time, that's the audio from the Zero cutscene because it had that. However, there's an extra cutscene we haven't seen yet for both X and Zero. I'm gonna splice them together. It's what happens if you get 3,000 Nightmare Souls as X or Zero before fighting all 8 Mavericks or Heatnix. That's hard to do, though. I'm only at 1,500 each. I found out what the Nightmare is. The Nightmare is an artificial virus. It infects Reploids and rewrites their DNA and AI programs, immobilizing them. At worst, even their appearance changes. We don't know exactly as our analysis is incomplete, but it's very similar to the Mavericks. Yeah, it's almost the same. Right. But I can't tell you the real threat of the Nightmare. The Nightmare phenomena, an infected Reploid gets out of order by inputting certain code, in fact. You can manipulate the Reploid freely. The real purpose of the Nightmare is not to ruin Reploids, but to control Reploids. Finally, when the virus rewrites his system, the Reploid sometimes dies. A normal virus dies with its host. The Nightmare virus is so strong, the virus can survive even after the Reploid dies. On the other hand, we don't need a special vaccine to vaccinate it, since the energy is so strong. Deleting them may be easier than Sigma. Who's doing this? Who's pulling the strings? To create such an advanced virus, he's the only one. The one who was my colleague, Gate. The investigators, some look different, but those 8 Reploids were created by Gate. They should have been in use somewhere else, since they're very able Reploids. Thinking of the Nightmare program, he's the only one who could have done it. Why is Gate doing this? Why is Gate doing this? When he and I worked for the Reploids research team, all his Reploids were super. His program was too advanced to analyze. The Reploids made remarkable progress. But that started to become dangerous. Then some Reploids began to take needless risks. Gate's reputation started to falter. But he continued creating more advanced Reploids, so that he could get recognition for his ability. Of course, it was against our boss. One day, making it look like an accident, the Reploids were disposed of. It was our boss's orders, but I participated. Were they really dangerous? No, not really. It was inevitable. But his program was just too advanced. There were too much that could not be analyzed by it. That's another one. Is that all? It's the same as me. They can't be analyzed. Like us. I hesitate to say this. He also aimed to make the strongest Reploid. Zero and X. He wanted you. He believed that the ultimate Reploid can never be analyzed. So he strived. So his program advanced to the point where no one can analyze it. He was much smarter than me, but I got ahead as I followed orders. Nobody gave him the proper recognition. Then, he got isolated and left saying this: I'll get revenge on all low Reploids who could not appreciate my ability. Building an ideal nation with high-end Reploids only. That was his ambition. The Nightmare is that very revenge on those who didn't appreciate him. It is the embodiment of his hatred. I'll stop such an ambition. I won't accept no more sacrifice of Reploids, and that's another one. He must know the current situation. Mankind, Reploids, and the Earth are in danger. The time for dreaming's over. We'll crush your ambition, Gates. Yes, stop Gates' plan at once. Gate must delete the Nightmare. Alright, let's find Gate. Alright, let's find Gate. And yeah, that happened. It is very hard to get 3,000 Nightmare Souls with either character at this point. Because the only way I can think of to grind that many souls, aside from maybe just using one character the entire game, is to do the normal Nightmare grinding session. However, that's after you fight all Investigators. Speaking of which, we're going after our final one now, which is probably my favorite design out of all of them, aside from Battle Shark Player, Blaze Heatnix. And he has my favorite song in the game. Good lord, this song is kick-ass. This is the magma area. A dangerous area to investigate is the hotspot that spews magmas. It's dangerous wherever I go. Although I can't confirm it due to the jamming, it must be the Nightmare. I don't care. I just move forward. And you want to bring Zero to this stage, especially after fighting Infinity Maginian, because of this red donut mini-boss. Get used to this guy. The things you need to damage on him are the 4 glowing weak spots around, and the Rakuha ability takes out basically 2 to 3 of them consistently, leaving the last 1 to 2 with very low health, making it very easy to kill. However, if it was a one and done mini-boss, wouldn't be too bad. We're fighting it like 4 or 5 times. Be careful in this stage, by the way, because especially when I got the, I think this is the Metal Shark player, Nightmare Effects. There's a lot of damage I can do here, because yeah, that did about 1/4 of my health. The magma spews here are especially dangerous, as you saw, because that did about half my health. No, actually, no, it did about 1/4, but it does half when you're playing as Red Zero. The most I can give you for advice is take your time, watch out for the metal blocks if you got the Metal Shark player Nightmare Effect, and as usual, try and rescue as many Reploids as you can. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't go over the Blizzard Wolffang and this character's good Reploids to get, so let's go over those. Here in Blaze Heatnix's stage, ones you want to look out for, there's a Buster Plus, which I believe increases Buster damage. Power Drive and Ultimate Buster are there too, I believe. By the way, we're facing this guy again, same basic strategy, Rakuha to kill him pretty quickly. Ultimate Buster is very interesting in that it automatically changes X's busters to be the charge shot variations, which means with like Falcon Armor, you'd be firing that small laser. And that is potentially useful, but I don't like it too much. Power Drive is very good though, and that is a limited item that boosts your attack power for a limited time. Over in Blaze Heatnix, with Blizzard Wolffang stage, well, first off, I should talk about this. There's 2 boss doors here. They lead to opposite variations of that fight we just did for the 3rd time. However, I want to come up here. If you have Speedster equipped with 0, or if you have the Nightmare Effect here, you can get up to where the Reploid is. This is the way towards the light capsule and alternate pathway. By the way, there was a heart tank underneath that Reploid. But there's also just a good amount of Reploids up here to rescue. We can't get to the light capsule, though, because the Nightmare Effect blocks you off, and as far as I'm aware, there's no way to break these iron blocks. Which I'll probably research right now, but yeah, I'm kind of screwed there. So I'm going to go back down and go through the bottom door because that's my preferred route for the main playthrough. Over in Blizzard Wolffang stage, there are very useful Reploids to get. We already got Speedster. There's also a Shot Eraser, which allows Zero's Saber to eliminate projectiles. Weapon Drive, which I believe is a power increase for your... No, it makes special weapons not use any ammo. That's right. Then, probably most importantly, there is the last Reploid I'm going to be getting in the game, sadly, Jumper, which increases your jumping height and distance. And trust me, that is mandatory if you're only playing as X. But yeah, the Red Donut guy, he's annoying, and I don't like how many times you have to fight him, but as long as you're playing as Zero, you at least have an easy way out. I mentioned before, but I absolutely love this goddamn song. It is such kick-ass guitar. The biggest issue with this whole stage, though, is that because of the fact you're fighting the mini-boss for most of it, there's not much interesting stuff going on in this stage, until around here. Zero, it's the hot spot. Watch out. It's too hot. What we got going on here is our 4th encounter against Red Donut Guy. There's also purple fire taking up half the screen in a bit of a vertical autoscroller. That fire will kill me in 1 hit with my current HP. It's not complete instant kill, but it does enough damage to almost 1 hit kill me at this point in the game. Rakuha is not required here, but recommended most of any other fights because he comes out where you are, I believe, or at least semi-randomly. And the moment you kill him, the fire's gone, so that makes this section a lot easier to progress through. You want to go to the bottom door, in my eyes, mostly because that way you can get an extra Reploid, but there is a Reploid for us to get in the top path there. I'll get that when it comes to cleanup. I don't think these nightmares are here, by the way, if you end up coming all this way up with the Red Donut. I think. Usually, he doesn't get much of a chance to live to begin with, so I rarely see him up here. Either way, time for, count it, our 5th encounter with this guy. And this one's probably the easiest because he comes up exactly where you are. Meaning it's not only very good for Rakuha because you can just easily predict where he's going to be, but it also makes manipulating his positioning to make him easier to hit easier for you. We did not need to fight this guy 5 times. 2 would have been enough, but no, we had to go overkill. Either way, time for Heatnix. It's getting hotter and hotter. The Investigator must be ahead. The Investigator for this area is Blaze Heatnix. Find out its weak point, just in case. Oh, by the way, I believe he is weak to Ground Scarabage's ability, which means, well, I have a way to do damage, but it's kind of awkward for the way he has to be fought. For Zero, I just recommend using the Z-Buster, though. Well, that's a really red sprite. I like it. It's too hot here. Let's finish this. A vigorous guy. I've been waiting. You look so strong compared with the others. I was bored because there's no strong Reploids left on the ground. Although, I was ordered not to kill. It's too hard, isn't it? I'm not interested in your talk. Will you fight or not? Good. Let's fight. Blaze Heatnix starts off by either going to the very bottom right or the very top right. Get to the side of the arena he's on because he's summoning the purple fire, and I almost died there. For the next bit, he's going to be swimming above or below you, trying to figure a point where he wants to jump down at you and just try to attack you. Beyond this, he only has, I think, 1 or 2 other attacks, which is like a small magma ball projectile he doesn't get a chance to do because I'm stun locking him. And an attack similar to what Phoenix Magnian would get in 0-2, where he boosts across a good amount of the screen, either the top or the bottom. And that attack is hard to dodge, mostly because the only way you can dodge it is if you're in the middle and you're prepared to see where he's coming from. X actually can dodge this attack a bit easier with the blade armor because of the way the blade armor's dash works. Blaze Heatnix, not a very hard Maverick with his weakness. Can be annoying otherwise, though, due to the purple fire and limited field. But with that, that's all 8 investigators taken care of. It's at this point after this fight that the cutscene with Gate from the cutscenes, plural, with Gate at the very beginning of the part would play otherwise. And Blaze Heatnix gives us a pretty good ability for both characters, actually. We get Magma Blade, fires a wide-range blade from the Saber. We also get Shoenzan. Press the attack button while holding up. It's a bit of an upward strike that's really good against high max. As for X's ability, he gets his Z-Saber essentially turns into a Fire Saber. Blaze Heatnix, an ex-investigator for the hotspot. His ability is far beyond the others. He can research any dangerous area. All of the members who fell behind were killed. Gate, who created Heatnix, improved his powers and strengths. In order to prevent any more victims, Heatnix was disposed deep underground. Alrighty then. And with all 8 investigators taken out, we could head after Gate right now. However, it's time that we go about our business doing completion stuff, going through all the stages that we don't have completed, which at this point is, I believe, 6 of them, at least. So that's going to be the rest of this part and a good amount of next. One thing I should mention about Blaze Heatnix's own ability. It's the weakness for Blizzard Wolffang, but the way it works is that the Fire Saber with X also fires 2 projectiles. The projectiles are what Blizzard Wolffang is weak against. Either way, let's actually head back to Blizzard Wolffang stage as 0 to get some stuff. Now that we have the Blaze Heatnix Nightmare effect, we can come into this section where there's a good amount of stuff for us. A few, like 5 Reploids, which is a good amount of them. The Heart Tank beneath the one on the right, which is going to 0, so we can equalize. And down here, which it takes me a death to get, there is a Reploid, as well as the X Tank, which raises the amount of lives you start the game with, after game over, from, I think, 2 to 4. There's also the alternate pathway here. This is where the, last Reploid is. Was I thrown off course? Aelia! The communication's out. Now, I actually cannot get the last Reploid yet, unless I had, like, Shock Buffer on, which is a part that boosts your invincibility frames to double the length. Why? The Reploid is here in the bottom left. However, even with 0, you cannot make that jump. You need Shadow Armor X to get that, and since I don't have that armor completed yet, this is going to be the last thing I get in the game. But you want to come back and get this because Jumper is required as X unless you're playing as Shadow Armor X. And trust me, you don't want me playing a Shadow Armor X. Either way, with High Max gone, a new boss actually takes his place after defeating the last Maverick. So let's see who takes his place. Dynamo? Have you solved the mystery of the nightmare? That's not your business. Leave. The Nightmare Soul's nice DNA. I want that power. So I'll take the souls you collected. Dynamo fights basically the exact same way he did in X5, if not a little more aggressive. The interesting thing about him, though, is that he is an infinite respawning fight. You can come back to fight him any time you want. And this is good because if you hit him with his weakness, which is Randy Turtloid's weapon, and then hit him again, he drops a green Nightmare Soul, which if you remember is 200 Nightmare Souls. He can drop those up to 3 times per battle, meaning you can get 600 Nightmare Souls each time you fight this guy. That makes him the ideal way to grind Nightmare Souls, and that's how I'm going to be reaching quad 9s for both characters by the end of next part. You're too serious. Later, Zero. He actually has a lot of dialogues that he can show, but I'm not going to be showing them all off because it's just not worth it in my eyes. But yeah, that's a nice little X5 reference. But it also brings up my biggest issue again with X5's plot, how Zero gets revived. Why not have Dynamo bring him back? Because that would explain why X couldn't find him. And that would also give Dynamo a reason to be here, because that's the last we see of Dynamo in the X series. So what the hell, game? Either way, we're back in Commander Yanmark's stage, just to the left where we got the light capsule, because now that I have Speedster Zero, we can get the sub-tank that's up there, as well as a Reploid. Also, this is the darkness effect I was talking about earlier that can show up in this stage, or Rainy Turtloids. It sucks. You can see very little of the screen, at least 2/3 of it at all times are pitch black. There are many Reploids everywhere who need help. You should search all over for them. No shit, Ailey, it's like I've been doing that the entire game. And now let's go after the alternate pathway for this stage. Not much happens here, honestly. It's basically just another cave area. There's some spikes coming here and there, and there's also a few Reploids up here. I believe the last big upgrades you can get in this area, this level, are in this area, though. I forget what they are. Let me look at my list here. Super Recover? No, that's earlier. Actually, no, there's no really good abilities over here. I'm just getting here for completion's sake. But we do find the actual alternate boss pathway, which isn't very interesting. Is this the Amazon area? It's similar, yet different. This is a very annoying area, though, because it's at least with the darkness gimmick, because you're over bottomless pits where you can't see at least 2/3 of the screen at a time. Falcon Armor 0, Blade Armor X, Falcon Armor 0, X, Falcon or Blade Armor are recommended if you're not playing a Zero because it'll allow you to make these actual jumps because you need to be doing these air dashes. But it's a very short alternate path. There's nothing really interesting there. And now I go fight Dynamo again. And next up, we want to head back to Blaze Heatnix's stage. I just kicked the mic. Sorry if that was loud. And head back towards where the Nightmare effect we saw earlier was, because, you know, I need to get the light capsule and such. You need Speedster to make this jump with Zero. You need the Blade Armor to make it with X, I believe, with maybe Jumper. And this is important because not only is this up here, but this is also where the alternate pathway is. So let's see what Light has to say. Zero, please give this armor program to X. Collect 4 programs to complete the armor. Now I'll give X an arm program with a shadow armor. This program will enable X to fire in the 3 directions simultaneously, and use a striking charged saber. Go and defeat the evil of this world. This is probably my least favorite Buster part for any armor in the series. I'll go over that next part when I show off the shadow armor, though, because I am showing off both armors. I'm just not really using the shadow armor that much. Even though the shadow armor looks awesome, its use is impractical. Either way, the alternate pathway for this stage is also very short, and it's basically a reversed vertical section from earlier on the stage. However, you want to come over here if you're going for 100%, because the last sub-tank is here. Where am I? Alia? Can't contact her. And hey, Commander Yanmark's Nightmare Effect. How are you doing? This is probably the most pointless Nightmare Effect in the stage, because when they initially spawn aside, they never try to initially attack you. They go away from you. Which makes me wonder what the point is. Mind you, people can wonder that for the game itself. But this is probably one of my least favorite alternate pathways, purely because of the amount of damage you can incur by not knowing what's ahead of you. Because there's a lot of just kind of blind jumps with what's ahead of you in these stages. And there's the sub-tank, which is the major reason you come over here, because I think at this point we've found every Reploid. I think. There might be one left in the pathway, I guess we'll see. But yeah, Dynamo, he is the best way to get Nightmare Souls in the game. At 600 per, you could reach quad 9s in about 15 battles, which is not very bad, especially if you go in the Phoenix Maginian stage, where you can get to the alternate pathway in like 2 minutes. Not even. Either way, now I'm actually heading to the top boss door after the second donut mini-boss, because this is where the other third donut mini-boss is. And I want to come over here because this is where the last Reploid in Blaze Heatnix's stage is. So with that, this stage is now complete. But with that, we're going to be ending this off rather abruptly. I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 7, we'll be finishing up the cleanup and then heading on to Gates' laboratory. Sorry for the very awkward part ending, but I could have sworn I recorded an actual ending, but it's better than nothing. See you guys then!